don't give him something. Don't tell him to post a video. Oh, for the love of Pete, don't do that. Because you might as well just close the door, forget it. But you need to think back to when you first signed up as a coach. Did you have any clue how this worked? Really? Seriously? All the questions you had to ask. You know, so 5 years later or 2 years later, you're trying to get your husband, and you just go, check my deadline, tell me how this works. No, doesn't work like that.
I'm full of questions, sorry. Did you ever feel like, whenever they would ask you, whether they're small, baby steps, whatever, did you ever feel like just more stress of like, oh, they're just asking
Because
me?
he works 70 hours a week, and now I'm supposed to ask him to do more because
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to seem incapable of
But
doing my job.
that's why Mindy started like she did, because you
Yeah.
just put the kids to bed while I do this
Well,
webinar.
it's the same mentality of what you have to do before you get an assistant. It is the biggest pain in the booty, no offense to any, when you first get an assistant, because you have to read, explain, and teach everything. But that slowing down has made you speed up so fast. So all that time it took me to go back and go slow and like, oh, she did this. So here's step one.
Yeah.
So now that is off my plate, so that I can either recruit more, we make more videos, whatever, but you have to slow down in order to speed up, and that's discipline, and it's not fun, and it's painful, and you will get frustrated, but if you have that long-term vision, you'll get it.
Let me be clear, anyone that works a 40-hour work week is probably not gonna wanna come home and first thing jump on the computer.
Yeah.
You know, they might not. What you might wanna start doing is say, once a week, would you help me with? When I was working, you know, I would drive all the way into Dallas, drive all the way home, software development all day, numbers and crazy junk everywhere, and, you know, to her credit, she didn't ask. She smart enough to know that maybe I don't want, and that's why she started out with like,
Yeah.
you know, but then the business got to where, even with me helping just a little bit, it opened things up for her. To where I was able to go, we were actually able to start talking about me going part-time. That was a big deal for me, and made me so nervous. You know, that's a huge step. I'm thinking benefits, and I'm thinking all this other stuff.
So in all honesty, when your wife comes to you and says, I need help, you take that as you feel good, you don't say, oh, my wife's incapable, or she's weak, or.
Man, I jump that every time.
Do
I
you?
follow hard.
Honestly, that's
About
what
the
I see.
fight, beauty to rescue, and an adventure to live. Now, you can't agree with everything in the book, but I'm like, that's James Myers. I mean, Lee and I went shooting today, an adventure to live, something to do. We introduced our boys to it. They had a ball. I mean, like, we're
Because I don't want
pretty,
to look weak, but maybe if that's
we
what my
will,
husband
that's like blood in the water to a shark.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I needed to know, like, because Michelle's so capable, I would just, then she's got it.
Yeah.
If you don't appear to have any weaknesses. And I know some of hers, but until she asks me, then it's hers. She had to make the ask. And it was very specific. And then, now I throw out ideas now. This is where we've grown to.
You
My
ask
question to
Michelle for
you, in ministry all the time, yeah. That was where the trade-off happened.
See, because my husband.
I want to know, is it your business, your vision, or is it y'all's? Because does he always want to work 70 hours? Because I don't think you've sold him on, if we work this together,
I think he does.
you could work part-time. I don't know that
has
he,
he
I don't know that
seen,
he
has he
gets
seen your
it.
checks?
Yeah.
Does he see you make money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he understand that that can grow?
He maybe just look, I can't know 25
Yeah,
households.
yeah,
and
no,
husbands in here.
I guess I just want to know.
The
that
vision
I
was married
see
together,
it.
and it was one bank account, we were both benefiting, and so me scratching her back benefited both of us. I mean, me getting involved, we're both sharing this income, and when it doesn't go well, we both feel it, and so it merged us together. But we both wanted these goals, we set goals every year. Every time we have a long trip, we pull out the phone and we reevaluate them. Things we want for our kids. Well, I mean, that might be something that speaks to your husband, because my pastor's salary wouldn't put our kids in these colleges. It certainly wouldn't put this much in savings. It wouldn't fund retirement accounts. Well, that scratches the stewardship, guy in me, and so if I help her, we get those goals together. That's just me. I can't say that works for your husband. And so you got to know what makes him tick. What does he want for your family as well?
It's interesting to hear a man that you would respond to us feeling.
You know, if you would have asked me 3 or 4 years ago, I'd be my wife's travel agent.
Yeah.
I would have thought you were crazy. But I literally am a travel agent. That's literally what I do almost all the time. Flights here, sending her there, all this stuff, getting stuff. But once he gets that, it's just that first step.
Do you think though? I think, Abby, I prayed so many times before I even spoke to him. I asked that God would prepare his heart and he would at least receive my question. But I would have a really hard time thinking that he would think you were weak, because you're married and he knows everything about me. He knows every place where I'm weak and dumb and can't do it.
But she knows what I mean. That's
But
how
he
it
doesn't
works.
ever go, oh, you're weak.
I guess that's just me admitting it.
I think,
You
well, no,
know?
I think that's okay
Yeah, I think that might be
because
more
that's
you.
part of me too. I
Yeah.
want to do it all, but then it's dumb for me to do it all, because then we're separate and we're excited about different things, and he's over there and I'm over here. But I'm telling you, pray before and a few times. Please prepare his heart. I just want to ask him about this. Give me the right words. And he'll make him so ready. And if you do it, it gets even better.
Yeah.
It all comes back to me.
One of the hardest things I've ever heard Shalene say was, anytime you must have your way, ask after sex.
Anytime you say, yeah.
Shalene is a very smart woman. I want someone to film that so they can
It's
send
always
that to
been
her.
filming. So now, what other questions do you have, like specific questions for the guys? Yes, go.
After you started watching kids putting them to bed and stuff, what kind of small tasks did you do? Like my husband, now that his hours are gonna be, he wants to help, and I don't know where to delegate what I can ask for help for.
We realized, probably from following these guys, that Michelle's audience was limited if it's only Michelle. And so what I had to get on board with was also allowing her to market me drinking Shakeology.
That's right.
So being on some of these products, doing some of these workouts in the house. And I'll tell you, because guys are so prideful, we don't want to be exposed. I don't think y'all do either. Nobody wants to fail. I mean, and we're worse than y'all. I mean, we just, guys, so if Michelle took a picture of me chugging Shakeology and said, did you know that got 200 likes? I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. So positive feedback, helped. Because it's hard to measure every little thing, how it's growing your business. Especially early on, you just know you might be getting a little more time. The payoff might come in 6 months or in a year. So you got to find a way to communicate to your husband, you doing that helped me do this, or it mattered to me. And certainly if it's a measurable, guys just like numbers. If you can say it translated into income, or it translated into more likes or more shares because it was a video, I mean, that's just an example I can give you. I'm more apt to do it again. I'm more apt to keep helping.
But what if you don't know? Because I know that you're a dreamer, you're numbers driven, and you had to work hard at learning the ins and outs of the business. So I'm wondering, when you're dreaming these things, and then you're like, "Oh, James, this is super exciting. This is kind of what I'm thinking. What do you think?" And I'm assuming your response, just from knowing you, is probably, "What's the ROI?" And what if you're like, I don't really know, but I think it's going to be good?
Well, I had to get to a point to where he couldn't argue with me because I had the money to fund it. But I had to prove it in paychecks before he would trust me right off the bat.
But an example, Michelle had this stupid idea to put scripture on tank tops.
Terrible idea.
And I told her there was no market for that. People don't want that. Nike and Under Armour and all this stuff's already out there. What is wrong with you? And so we didn't fund that. My compromise. So you got to go from two people, I want this dream, I don't get it. The compromise was you can only do pre-orders.
Yeah.
So I don't see money going out the door that there's no return on. That's the compromise. Most of the time you just got to get your husband somewhere. You didn't get everything you wanted, and he didn't get everything he wanted, somewhere to the middle, where now we had to do that 2 or 3 times and we couldn't keep up with it anymore. So she launched it. So the dream may take some time to get there. So just keep chipping away at it. And any healthy marriage has to have some compromise. I mean, this applies to all aspects of it. And if you're the dreamer in your relationship, you're going to run into this in lots of ways. So, okay, I want to get him here. So first, we got to agree to do this together. Okay. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps.
And then you can't bombard them all the time with this and this only.
Right.
Yeah.
To pick and choose your time.
I think Michelle now would say she's probably grateful for some of the no's or the pacing, because she's got the next 5 things in her head that she wants to do that I'm saying, your kids are 4 and 2. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And the dream is awesome, but it's just not the right season. So I don't want you to ever stop dreaming. There's just seasons. That's why we dialogue about it. And I'm always holding back. I need somebody to kind of pushed me out of the nest a little bit. Let's give this a try. What could it hurt? And there's safe ways to fail. You know, pre-orders didn't burn us at all, you know, but it helped me. I stuffed them. I wrote it in Excel. I did everything. I was like, what have we done? There's a lot of girls that wanted these tank tops.